Welcome to RetroEric. Earlier I have showed you PalSwapT, a TSR that gives CGA games custom palettes on EGA and VGA cards. But what if you are running a real CGA card? You can't reprogram the DAC, the CGA doesn't have one. You're stuck with whatever palette the game chooses. This is CGASwap, a new TSR that overrides CGA's built-in palette combinations on real CGA hardware. And I've also made some improvements to PalSwapT since the last video. CGASwap is a tiny TSR that forces a specific CGA palette combination in mode 4 and 5, where PalSwapT reprograms the VGA DAC with any RGB color you want. CGASwap works within CGA's own hardware limits, and those limits are real. CGA gives you 6 foreground palette combination. That's it. 2 palettes, palette 0 and palette 1, each in low and high intensity, plus mode 5 with color burst turned off, which swaps magenta for red. And you can set the background to any of the 16 CGA colors. So preset 1 is the classic, light cyan, light magenta and white, the one you see in most CGA games. Preset 2 gives you the same but at low intensity. Palette 3 is light green, light red and yellow. Preset 4 is that at a low intensity. Preset 5 and 6 are the mode 5 variants. Light cyan, light red and white, which some games actually looks great in. Not a huge range of choices, but here's the thing. Most CGA games only use one of these. The game picks its palette at startup and that's what you get. CGASwap forces a different choice and keeps forcing it. Just like PalSwapT, you can switch presets on the fly. Hold Ctrl+Alt and press 1 through 6 to change the palette combinations while the game is running. Now, because CGA is so limited, most games are designed around one specific palette. Switching to a different one can look strange. The colors were never meant to go together that way. But in some games it's a genuine improvement. You can also change the background color with /B:. By default it's black, but you can set it to blue or dark gray or whatever you like. The background color is preserved when you switch presets with hotkeys. Now, here's where CGASwap gets clever. CGA hardware are write-only registers. Port 3D9 for palette and port 3D8 for mode control. You can write to them, but you can never read them back. And there is no interrupt hook that fires when a game writes directly to these ports. It just happens and we can't catch it. So CGASwap hooks the timer interrupt int8 and reapplies the palette about 18.2 times per second. Why 18.2? Well, because the IBM PC's timer chip is clocked from the internal NTSC crystal that drives CGA's composite output. And with a maximum 16-bit counter divider, that works out to be 18.2 Hz. It's not a design choice, it's just what the hardware gives you. And it's the same on every PC compatible, regardless of CPU speed. CGASwap also hooks on int10 to catch BIOS mode sets and palette changes, and int9 for the hotkeys. The timer handles most games that write to port 3D9 through the BIOS, but games that write directly to port 3D9 in the main loop continuously every frame will outpace the timer. For those games, set the palette before launching the game and it will apply at the mode set. If the timer causes issue with a specific game, for example a game that uses palette changes for flashing effects, where the timer would fight the game and cause flicker, you can disable it with /T. The hotkeys will still work even when timer enforcement is off. I've tested CGASwap on real CGA hardware. Montezuma's Revenge, Mrs. Pac-Man, International Karate, Bruce Lee, Popcorn, Last Ninja, Monkey Island, Galaxian all works perfectly. Palette and hotkeys. Some games like Rick Dangerous and Fallen Angels take over the keyboard and timer interrupts completely during gameplay. They install their own handlers and don't pass control back to ours. When that happens, our hotkeys can't reach CGASwap anymore. For most of those games, hotkey will still work on the title screen, but not in-game. You can still set the palette before launching the game. Now let me show you what's new in PalSwapT since my last video. First, I've added a new preset. Pressing Ctrl+Alt 0 now gives you monochrome gray. 3 shades of gray plus black like a classic monochrome monitor. That brings the total of presets to 10. I also removed a BIOS call that told the system not to reset the palette on mode changes. The previous version needed that so the custom colors would survive when a game switched video mode. But since the TSR already catches every mode change and reapplies the palette itself, that call was redundant. And without it, the BIOS probably resets everything when you go back to text mode, so your DOS prompt always look right. And the resident code has been optimized, with tighter loops, smaller footprint in memory. Thanks to Jim Leonard for the optimization feedback. The non-TRS version, plain PalSwap, no T, has also been updated with the same monochrome gray preset on /0. All 10 presets are now identical between PalSwap and PalSwapT. The non-TRS version still uses the old two-step approach and the BIOS palette disable, since it's not memory resident and can't catch mode changes to reapply the palette. But for a quick one-shot palette change before launching a game, it still works great. We now have 3 tools. PalSwapT, the full-featured TSR for EGA and VGA. Custom RGB palettes with live hotkeys, random palettes from the C64 Spectrum and CPC color sets, brightness and saturation adjustment, all while the game is running. One thing worth mentioning. On VGA you get a full range of 256,000 colors. On EGA the card itself can output 64 colors, so PalSwap can still remap your 4 CGA colors to any of those. But if you're using an original EGA monitor like the IBM 5154, the monitor switches to 4-bit RGBI decoding in CGA's 200-line modes based on the sync frequency. So on real EGA monitor you are limited to 16 colors, still a big improvement over CGA's fixed palette. Later multi-sync monitors connected to the same EGA card may not have these limitations. PalSwap, the simpler one-shot version. Set the palette and go. No TSR, no hotkeys, for when you have no memory to spare or just need to set a fixed palette. And the third and last tool so far, CGASwap. The new one for real CGA cards forces a specific palette combination, fights to keep it applied, and gives you Ctrl+Alt hotkeys to switch between all 6 CGA palette variants, with background color control and timer enforcement for stubborn games. All 3 are available on my GitHub, and you can of course still create your own custom palette files for PalSwap and PalSwapT. Links are in the descriptions. So, whether you're on VGA, EGA or real CGA, there's now a palette tool for you. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, please hit subscribe and like, and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss out on future videos about retro PC hardware and programming. Thank you for watching.